Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Attorney Jeremy Hogan is getting excited for what he's calling the endgame in the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit, which is covered in this new article from You Today titled Ripple v. SEC. New major date is scheduled as parties will go public. So I'll share with you the specifics from Attorney Jeremy Hogan. And also, as it turns out, and I think like the vast majority of us were unaware of this, it turns out the Digital Chamber of Commerce, which was founded and is currently headed by Perianne Boring, they've been saying for the longest damn time that they're going to file an amicus brief, just like Attorney Deaton did, in the SEC v. Ripple case. And not necessarily in support of Ripple, but presumably they'd argue stuff like they argued in the Telegram case, which, trying to make distinctions between the token versus what the token itself versus what might represent an investment contract. That would be great for XRP holders, presumably, if it's anything like what was done in the Telegram case. Well, our understanding to this point is that they hadn't done a damn thing. Turns out they actually did file an amicus brief a while back. It's just that they did it wrong. And as far as we know to this point, they haven't tried to fix it. So I'll share with you the specifics, but this is probably an indication like they're probably going to do something. I would certainly hope, because can you imagine filing an amicus brief, doing it wrong, which means the court's like, you don't exist in our eyes effectively, and then just not responding to that? Can you imagine? Because that's hard to believe. I think they're going to do something. So, or if they have, we just haven't heard about it yet. And I'll share with you a comment from Attorney John Deaton as well. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So let's get into this. Here's the first piece, reads as follows. The litigation between the SEC and Ripple has acquired a new twist and a major new date. Thus, it has come to light that on September 19th, the parties will file open redacted versions of briefs in support of motions for summary judgment, making only those preliminary changes that the parties requested during the meeting and conference. Then, up until the end of the year, a negotiation process will begin in which lawyers for Ripple and the regulator will discuss and edit the briefs. Now, Jeremy Hogan, an attorney and well-known pro-XRP activist, dubbed the upcoming trial an endgame. According to the lawyer, the importance of September 19th is not to be underestimated because on that day, both sides will lay bare their cards and present much of what they have. And they're referencing this comment from Attorney Jeremy Hogan on Twitter, which reads as follows. Circle September 19th as the day we get to see most of the cards the parties are holding. Ripple v. SEC. The end game. It's getting me excited. I'm weird like that. I like his sense of humor. Mine's somewhat similar, I'd say. It's pretty darn similar. But, so this is kind of neat. So, not kind of, it's extremely neat because we're actually going to get to see what the sides have. To what degree things are redacted. Okay, whatever. But we're going to have that September 19th. That's what's supposed to happen. That's, a little over a week away. We're almost there. That is definitely something to look forward to. I can't wait to start digging through that. And I'm sure the whole community will be digging through it as well. But we're actually almost at the end here. Well, as far as this portion of the process goes, pretrial stuff goes, and we're really going to get to see what the SEC has in particular. Like, I'm interested in both sides, but I'm just kind of wondering in particular, like, what else has been held back just in general? And also, I wanted to say shout out and credit to attorney James Filan, member of the XRP community, who shared this most recent legal brief. Now, speaking of this, again, we're going to circle back around to a little bit more of the legal brief, but first I need to set the table just a little bit. You guys familiar with Perianne Boring? So this is Perianne right here. She is the founder and the head of the Digital Chamber of Commerce. And back on October 8th, 2020, so a little over 2 months before the SEC sued Ripple, claiming that XRP is a security of Ripple, Perianne Boring, to her credit, did state very succinctly what's on your screen right there. She simply wrote, and it's 5 words, XRP is not a security. Pretty plain and simple, to the point. That's good to see that. Very good to see that, frankly. it's just, my beef here is that I haven't seen, any sort of public support from Perianne other than her stating we're going to file an amicus brief. Other than that, I haven't seen a damn bit of anything. And more on that in just a second, but there's an XRP community member named Matt who retweeted that on March 23rd this year and wrote, "Agreed, Perianne. So why have you refused to speak on this subject since this tweet of yours, which was 2 months before the SEC case against Ripple was announced? Did you know something then that we didn't?" And I'll just pause to say, I don't think she knew anything special. But it is interesting that she's been quiet. Now, she did respond to that on March 23rd this year, and she wrote, "We're submitting a brief and cannot comment until the brief is filed." Now, turns out that's not quite technically true. It's more like that's a preference. Fred Rispoli, who is an attorney and member of the XRP community, responded to Perianne Boring on May 24th this year and said, "Perianne," and he tagged her, he said, "Perianne, please remember to make sure you follow the local rules of procedure this time so you aren't rejected like last time." And I'll pause a note here, and then parentheses, he wrote DKT 328, which I'm assuming means docket 328, but I'm not a lawyer, so if that's not what it means, I don't know, whatever, sue me. But, so you can see there what he's referencing, and I'll show you the specifics in just a minute or two. It turns out that the Digital Chamber for Commerce actually did file an amicus brief in August of last year. And they did it wrong. They didn't follow some sort of rules, and so they were rejected outright, apparently. And I was unaware of this. And pretty much everybody's been unaware of this, based on what I've seen from comments within the XRP community. Now, Attorney Fred Rispoli he knew this, so credit to him, which is why I just wanted to share. I don't pretend to know anything. As I learn stuff, I'll continue to share it with you here. But think about this, though. So they filed something, then that wasn't really widely known publicly, even though technically, yes, it's been public information the whole time. And then we hear basically nothing for, at this point, about a whole nother year. And you just got to kind of sit here wondering, and Fred Rispoli was too. In fact, the rest of Fred's tweet is as follows. He wrote, "Also, there is nothing preventing you from commenting on your planned brief, and you know it. Just be honest. You are trying to play both sides." Okay. I suspect that is correct. I think Fred's hitting the nail on the head. If I have to guess, and I don't have to, but I'm willing to, look, she's running the Digital Chamber for Commerce, which she created, and it's supposed to represent all of crypto. Well, although it's true that the XRP community is one of the largest communities in all of crypto, it's also one of the most hated by those who are like Bitcoin maxis types, And those are very loud people. It's not that most people hate Ripple and most people hate XRP. It's that the ones that do are super loud, and it makes it feel like their voices are just so overwhelming. It must be everyone that feels this way, right? Which is not true. It's always just the most irrational people with the smallest brains are the loudest. That's what I've just found in life in general. So I think it's more so something like that. So as a result, it appears to me that Perianne Boring with the Digital Chamber of Commerce probably doesn't want to go out of their way to defend XRP holders a whole lot, at least not publicly. They do, I believe, they do understand just how important and precedent-setting this is for the rest of the asset class, and they understand that if they sit idle here and they don't move, at least from a legal perspective, that it could have dire consequences for the entire space in the United States specifically. I do believe that they understand that. But still, they don't want to give the public support, so they say almost nothing about it, which is really regrettable, because if you get the public, if you can just sway the public in the right direction, they can push. You don't have to tell them what to do. They're not programmed robots. But if you just present information, they will respond accordingly, because I really don't believe that most people in crypto just hate XRP. I do not, even if they're not in the community. Even if they're aware of it and not in the community. It doesn't mean they hate it. It's just a small, noisy bit. The Bitcoin maxi troll types, and that's pretty much it. That's just my personal opinion. That's the sense that I get from this anyway. So I think Fred Rispoli's hitting the nail on the head here. Now, attorney Jeremy Hogan ended up retweeting Perianne when she said, after she's stating, "We're submitting a brief and cannot comment until the brief is filed." Even though, as Fred Rispoli pointed out, she just doesn't want to comment. She could comment, but she's not going to. Jeremy Hogan said, "Good to see that the Chamber of Digital Commerce will file an amicus brief in the Ripple case. It filed an amicus in the Telegram case and focused on distinguishing the digital asset from any potential investment contract. This is similar to what Attorney Deaton is arguing." There you go. So this would be powerful to have Attorney Deaton, obviously, which is already approved as Amici Curiae within the SEC v. Ripple case. You get another approved Amici here, which just, just friend. It just means friend of the court. That's powerful. Another one. Like, why are all these people coming here? Like, especially with a Deaton representing over 70,000 XRP holders. And then you have the Digital Chamber of Commerce coming too, being like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And the messages in line, and you've got over 70,000 people saying the same thing, Digital Chamber of Commerce saying the same thing, Attorney John Deaton saying the same thing, and then the SEC saying something completely out of step, which is illogical, and it looks like they're not operating in good faith of the law, as Attorney Judge Netburn pointed out recently. It's powerful stuff. That's why I wish that, it would be even more powerful if they just, Perry Ann and Digital Chamber of Commerce were willing to just speak out, but I get it. They don't want to because it's not cool to do that. Because she wants to look cool to a certain type of people, for lack of a better phrase. That's what it seems like to me. So how did I first come across this? And this is true. It's actually from Ashley Prosper, XRP community member, who wrote, so apparently there are at least 2 sets of Amici referenced in this document. So now we're going back to the latest legal brief, which James K. Filan shared. And so again, Ashley Prosper said, so apparently there are at least 2 sets of Amici referenced in this document. Looking at the ECF numbers, it appears they are referring to John Deaton and the Chamber of Digital Commerce. Seems Perry Ann is actually sticking to her word. So I'll just note, Ashley made a small mistake. Sorry if it sounds like nitpicking, but just to correct it, she said Chamber of Digital Commerce. It's the Digital Chamber of Commerce. And what's being referenced here, these ECF numbers, which stands for electronic case files, referencing the bottom right here. It's footnote number 2, which reads as follows. Defendants also note that promptly filing public versions of the summary judgment briefs is important to the at least 2 sets of Amici who will need access to the parties' legal briefs in order to propose their own Amici filings to the court. Now, that caught the XRP community by surprise, and that's when this got dug up, and now it's more broadly understood that the Digital Chamber of Commerce actually did take action. They need to take more action because they done filed the stuff wrong, but that was a while ago. But upon reading, they're saying, wait, 2 sets of Amici? What in the ever-loving hell is going on here? And by the way, the reason that we know this is if the electronic case file number 324, it's on record, and I don't know what site Ashley pulled this from, but she shared a screen grab, and here you can see it was August 31st of last year. That's when it was filed. And here you can see Chamber. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to retract what I said. So they are the Digital Chamber of Commerce, as stated right here. Oh, gosh, I'm mistaken. I guess I have to retract that. Whatever. Well, it is what it is. I'm not always right about everything. I could have sworn it was the Digital Chamber of Commerce. That's how I see it written all over the place. And actually, I think even Attorney John Deaton cited as that. Yeah, he wrote DCC in this tweet. I've seen it written both ways. Okay, well, I'll retract it then. Ashley was right. I was wrong. So anyway, it was filed there. So anyway, getting sidetracked here. That's not the important point. But it was August 31st, 2021, Chamber of Digital Commerce. So again, though, it's now been over a year. And to my knowledge, and I haven't seen any evidence that they filed, so it looks like they've just not. Kind of wait until the last minute if they're going to be filing something, and I would think that they would. It'd be so silly and ridiculous, and it would look bad not to. I mean, because even the court's expecting them to. Because look at what they wrote here: the 2 sets of Amici. It looks like even the judge is expecting this. So that's where that's coming from. And on this topic, there's Tipsy Tiger who wrote in response to this, because he was as surprised as pretty much anybody else in the community wrote, 2 Amici, I thought there was only John Deaton. Did I forget someone? And this is what Attorney John Deaton had to say. He wrote, the DCC filed a pro hoc vice motion that was denied without prejudice, but able to refile. Like I said in a previous tweet, at Digital Chamber, like me, needs to first read the briefs filed by the parties before we file an application to file an amicus brief. So I'm assuming what he's referencing there is that they didn't follow the local rules of the court, and it just didn't work over a year ago. So we'll see here. Hopefully it comes on down, because it is impactful. This is a pivotal moment in time in terms of the evolution and of crypto within the United States specifically, and just the degree to which this is precedent setting. This truly is a pivotal moment. So I'm I'm expecting them to get in. I hope they get it in. And if they do, I'm anticipating that it will be good. I'm not expecting them to defend Ripple in the least, and I don't care about that. They don't have to. Ripple's got their own legal team, just like Attorney John Deaton isn't sitting here in the court, at least, as it pertains to any court action. He's not sitting there protecting Ripple. He's here to protect XRP holders. That's what he's doing. So that's pretty well where we're at. I just want to provide a quick legal update on that. But as far as the end game, this is pretty much it. And it's coming up, and we're going to see exactly what both sides have to say in a little over a week from now. So it's exciting in a way. I mean, I'm still very disgusted by this whole process, but it's good. I like the way in which everything has been unfolding, the way that Ripple appears to be positioned based on everything that we know, everything pre-trial. It looks overall favorable for XRP holders and Ripple. So I'll just say that. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.